Well, shopping, love it or loathe it, it really is a brave new world, and there is a new wave of innovation that is heading our way that promises to make a visit to our local mall, I think, a far more productive and hopefully a more pleasant experience. This is according to Deloitte Africa, but here's the question. Are local retailers ready for what seems to be a digital revolution? Joining us now to discuss that particular issue is the company's Mike Vincent, a consulting leader, consumer industries at Deloitte. Mike, a very warm welcome to you. I'm assuming that the retail industry in South Africa is ripe for change. Are we on the curve or behind the curve when it comes to global trends?
Jeremy, so I think we're learning quickly. We saw what was happening in the rest of the world. We have a dual economy in South Africa, and I think that a lot of the retailers are beginning to see the advantages of moving into a digital world. So I think we're probably still a little bit behind the curve. And what retailers were saying to us, we've heard all about this and we hear you talking to us, but show us.
So I'm looking through the survey and things like shorter queues at a checkout, a better selection of goods, for instance. I mean, this isn't anything particularly new. Hasn't this always been a challenge that retailers have faced?
Yeah, but the difference now, of course, is that they're able to use technology in order to achieve those outcomes. And that's what we've tried to do in our connected retail store, which we've built for retailers down in Cape Town.
So give us an example. I mean, how would that be working, for instance?
What we've done is we've used algorithms, we've used facial recognition technology, we've used RFID, all of those kinds of things, to be able to track the movement of shoppers inside the store, to look at their preferences. To give you an example of that, if somebody takes a number of items of clothing into a change room, what do they do with those? How many of those do they buy? Do they buy any? And just that kind of data, that kind of knowledge empowers the retailers to be able to make informed decisions on where to locate a shopping assistance, what merchandise to have out, and what merchandise is moving off the shelves.
Where's the line then between shopping assistance on the one hand and intrusion, where it almost looks like Big Brother is monitoring everything that you're telling me? I get nervous when I hear about measuring what goes on in the change room.
Sure.
Yeah.
Protection of private data is important. I mean, you do have opt-in options where you can opt in to participate in whatever's happening in the store. But by the same token, there's nothing different, I guess, with the shop assistant watching what is going on in the store versus an RFID tag giving you the information. I mean, there's no invasion of privacy with that.
Mike Vincent, the challenge for any retailer, I guess, is you can have the technology to optimize what should be the deliverable. But the reality is you've got to make that deliverable happen. And often that's where the breakdown is. For instance, that you've got to put more coffee on the shelves, or people are buying this particular type of T-shirt, or whatever the case is. But often the failure, and you'll agree with me and you can tell me how to solve it, is not being able to deliver to that promise that you want to make consumers.
So I think a big issue is firstly the cultural aspect of, do we want to go down this route? Secondly, cost, because retailers, we know, work on pretty thin margins. Yeah. And so what we as Deloitte did was to prove that with minimal investment, you can actually embrace this. Just to give you an example of this, we created a smart mirror inside our store in Cape Town. The technology that we used, you can get it off the shelf. We turned a TV on its side, a lovely big TV. We used Xbox, and we used that to demonstrate that actually, it doesn't have to be all singing, all dancing in terms of cost, and that just with some clever innovations, you can actually make it work.
You asked the question culturally, if we want to go down this route. I mean, do retailers want to? Do they have the appetite for this?
So if you look at some of the key drivers inside retailers, it really is related to cost and improving efficiency, and most importantly, improving customer experience. The promise of 3D, the promise of digital Internet of Things, all of those kinds of things is about improving customer experience, improving efficiency, and improving your margins. And I think that that's what it could deliver.
So we've been talking about the customer-facing end of this equation. What about suppliers? I mean, at the back end, where do they fit into all that?
So we've thought long and hard about that. We've demonstrated in our store a complete supply chain process where, historically we had listeriosis in the country, and customers are wanting to be able to track the product all the way back to the farm. So with blockchain technology, GPS location, all of that kind of stuff, we're able to make sure that from farm to fork, There is complete transparency. A, the customers can see it. B, you can replenish just in time. And all of that tech is available.
Are some retailers doing this better than others? I presume that must be the case.
Well, absolutely. And I think we can learn a lot from what has been happening globally.
Yeah.
And what has been interesting to us is the uptake and the number of retailers who've actually been through our store in Cape Town to come and have a look to see how we're doing it, to see whether there's anything that they can learn. And so there is great interest. As you say, the real trick now is to convert that. This is actually a technology solution. We know that retailers do spend money on tech. This is a tech solution that's solving real business problems.
Am I going to get out of the supermarket quicker on a Saturday morning with my dad once I start to realize this kind of thing than in the past? You have to say yes.
Well, it depends how fast he can move his Zimmer frame.
He's 94 years old.
Well,
Mike
there we
Vincent,
go.
thank you very much indeed. Next on the program, why a news platform and an insurance brand are teaming up to unite South Africans through song.